Welcome to a new edition of Be the Boss of Your Money. This is a live stream. It's all about personal finance. So I can give you the education and the skills to take control of your money. This show is for all levels of finance, from beginner to beast. I hope you get a lot out of it. If you have any questions at all about personal finance, especially about the topics we're going to talk about today, please ask me in the comments. I love to hear from you. It's the best part of doing this. If you're watching this in the replay, same goes for you. Welcome. Ask your questions in the comments. I'll be sure to see those. We've got a couple of topics today. Jerome Powell on 60 Minutes, Johnson & Johnson. I have a long list. Okay. Stock market, economy, which is booming right now. Johnson & Johnson, I think, was like the big scare of the day. And then we have a little bit more of crypto, actually a lot of it more. Coinbase looks to be going public. I think they're hitting the market tomorrow, and it's expected to be a huge IPO. So let's roll the quick intro. We've got a lot to cover today, and I'm excited for this. It's going to be a good show. Here we go. Hello, welcome back. My name is Mitch Goldberg. You're watching my live stream. It's called Be the Boss of Your Money. I call it that because it's really about giving you the skills education that you need at different stages of your life to take control of your money. I'm a financial advisor for over 30 years. So I've seen so many people make so many mistakes and get so many things wrong that I just want to give you the nuggets that you need, the information, the knowledge to help you get along on your personal finance journey quicker. So maybe I can help you avoid some mistakes by teaching you the lessons that I've learned from clients who've made mistakes and for myself. You know, I see lots of new clients come in, and they sometimes things, more often than not, things need to have a course correction. So I want to give you the skills, the knowledge, to help you take control of your money. It's very easy for your money to take control of you, and you've got to take that control back. You really, money, you really have to be kind of cold and calculated with money. It's just, you have to take control of it, and you have to have the skill sets. There's a lot of things to know. Money is pretty sophisticated, and it's a pretty sophisticated world. You might say overly complicated, but if you want to beat the system, you've got to know how to work the system, right? So let's get into the system. A couple of things to talk about. So first of all, how did you feel this morning when you heard that the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, the one-shot jab, the one-jab vaccine, how did you feel when you heard that that's being pulled off the market because of rare cases of blood clots, but nevertheless severe cases? It's pretty scary. And if I had gotten the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, I definitely would be on the phone with my doctor, and I'd want to know what the heck is going on. I think, something like 4 million to 5 million people in the United States receive the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, and it's a good filler in areas in this country where the refrigeration needs are a lot less stringent than you need for the RNA drugs, like Moderna, messenger RNA drugs like Moderna and Pfizer for their vaccines. So it was a pretty scary moment. And all of a sudden you're thinking, whoa, this risk on trade, this rotation, maybe there's a problem with it. Maybe we need to reassess everything. And plus you're always hearing about, the variants, the one originally found in the UK, and then there's the Brazilian one, the South African one, and then there's double mutant variants, that a bunch of cases with double mutant variants in California. And it's kind of like cockroaches. If you find one, there are probably others with these variants. So a lot of scary stuff going on, but we can't just keep shutting down the economy. Every time we trying to make sure my mic is in the right place. We can't keep shutting down the economy every single time that how do I sound to you? If you're listening to this right now, let me know. Can't keep shutting down the economy every time there's a COVID scare. We just can't do it. So we've got to get through it. Keep masking up. Keep social distancing. I know there are a lot of areas, a lot of people who just don't care anymore. They don't want to do it, and that's fine. That's your business. I'm going to be careful. I mean, I still mask up. I still use hand sanitizer, and I've already had my vaccines. I've gotten the Pfizer vaccine. I got both jabs. My second one a couple of weeks ago. That's it. Did you get the jabs? How'd you feel afterwards? I could tell you the first jab, I was okay. I was a little tired for that evening and the next day, and then it was fine after that. But the second one, it was the same thing. My arm hurt a lot more, and it hurt pretty bad. But I was kind of out of it it lasted like 3 days, even 4 days. But I'm glad it's over with. Okay, so let's talk about the market, the economy, and put a bunch of things together because so many things to talk about. My mind is racing. Jerome Powell, who is the chairman of the Federal Reserve, and you should know this. Okay, he was on 60 Minutes on Sunday night. I watched it more than once, and he definitely personifies the kinder, gentler Federal Reserve. He talked about he sees people living in tents not far from where he works at the Federal Reserve building in Washington, D.C. And to him, it's like, the economy is doing very well, and we will see inflation. And, I've been saying all along, hey, for a few months, last 2.5, 3 months, the economy is doing much better than people think. And then I've been saying for the last couple of weeks that it's actually booming right now. Really, the economy's really hit escape velocity from the shutdowns and COVID. We're not going back. So, but he said he wants to make sure that inflation, well, he's really focused on employment. So if you recall Paul Volcker, who was the Fed chairman in the late 70s and up to 87 when Chairman Jay Greenspan came in, Volcker jacked up interest rates to kill inflation. And, I could debate whether if that really worked or not. And I know you're saying, well, inflation went down. Of course it worked. That's like dogma. It's accepted knowledge and unquestionable that Volcker killed inflation. But in 1980, it's also when the personal computer was invented, and personal computers proliferated in businesses throughout the 80s. I think that had a lot more to do with taming inflation than Volcker putting the economy into a severe recession. And I just think the efficiency of technology has been working its way through the economy ever since 1980, the invention of the PC. And it continues today. Throughout the 90s, we had proliferation of the internet. Through the 2000s, we had proliferation of broadband internet. And from 2010 or so to 2020, we had proliferation of apps that have been enabled because of wireless high-speed broadband. And that's what has kept inflation down. And that is why we've seen ever lower inflation, even when the unemployment rate was in the 3% area before the pandemic started in very early 2020. So, but Powell said he doesn't see anytime soon when he expects to raise interest rates. So he doesn't. And that's okay. He wants restaurant workers, travel and leisure. I actually think Powell is the greatest friend that the travel and leisure industry has ever had. Because when he talks about he wants lower tier, lower paying jobs and everybody on the ladder from the top to the bottom to become employed again, he is really focusing very heavily on travel and leisure. So if there's any sector whose back that the Fed has, it's travel and leisure. I'm going by his words. Okay, so he doesn't expect to raise rates anytime soon. He sees any bout of inflation to be very short-lived. Let's talk about Johnson and Johnson. Now, the acting FDA commissioner, Janet Woodcock, said, okay, that the Johnson and Johnson drug, as of this morning, would only be pulled off the market for a couple of days. The FDA did not get rid of the drug, the vaccine, the J&J vaccine. They didn't say it can't be used. They didn't pull it off the market. They said they're pausing it out of an abundance of caution. There were 6 cases of severe blood clots in people from their 20s to their 40s. The FDA wants to make sure that there are not other people experiencing the same symptoms. There's a similar thing happening with the AstraZeneca COVID vaccine in Europe. So it's this class of vaccines. That's the problem. So, and then you see the market come down. So this is a good time to bring in the market analysis. Jillian, I see you out there, by the way. Thank you very much. Hey, while you're watching this, especially in the live, if you give it a thumbs up or another reaction, maybe a heart, I'll see you out there, and I could, it's nice to see who's out there. Okay, we've got a couple of questions and comments out there. Yep, Phil is out there. So let's, you know what? This is a good time to take some questions out there. Okay. So Phil, my friend. Good to see you. Thank you so much. Sorry, Mitch, 6 cases of blood clots out of 7 million. I know it's a very tiny percentage, and that's why the FDA said out of an abundance of caution. And they want to make sure that, that the public trusts what they're getting, that they trust the vaccine. Of J&J don't require pause. Nothing is zero risk. Yeah, listen, people every year die from the flu shot. I mean, I'm not trying to make light of it. I mean, my mother got a shingles shot, and her reaction was horrible. Like, my mother is not allowed to ever get a shingles shot again for as long as she lives, because it was, such a bad reaction, which included a hospitalization. All right. So yeah, it's just, they said out of an abundance of caution. It doesn't mean the drug is off the market, but I do think people who line up for a jab are definitely going to prefer one of the mRNA, the messenger RNA vaccines, I guess. But the J&J was a good filler. Okay. I don't know. I don't know if you guys know this, but for those of you who've been following my wife's and my story, my wife is going through ovarian cancer treatment. She's had 6 chemos over the last 7 months. She had surgery. Yesterday was 3 weeks, and it was major abdominal surgery. And when she was leaving the hospital offered her the Johnson and Johnson vaccine. And the reason is it's an easy place to give it. It doesn't require the cold storage like the Pfizer and mRNA and Moderna drugs. And her surgeon said, I don't want you to get any vaccine, because if you get a fever from it, I'm not going to know if it's a fever from a vaccine or from an infection from the surgery, which would be very, very dangerous. And she wound up getting the Pfizer shot, and she is, relieved, because she actually has a blood clot, and because that's part of the symptoms of the cancer she has. So she's already on blood thinners as it is. So, what can I tell you? I'm glad she got the Pfizer shot, but it's a big thing. But it sent a shudder through the market today. Gary is out there. Hey, Mitch, you always do tune in. I really appreciate that, Gigi. That means a lot to me. Thank you very much. And I'm still thinking of your last comment, and the amazing, that was just terrific. Thank you very much. And all women of childbearing age. Yep, absolutely. So, Phil, thank you very much for commenting. By the way, Phil is a doctor. He knows his thing. He's been a doctor for 40 years. I hope I'm not giving your age away, but you know your stuff, if anybody. Okay. And that's great. Thank you for commenting. So we talked about the Johnson & Johnson drug. So it's a good time to take a look at how the market did today. Okay. Let me put myself in the corner. I'll make this a little bit bigger. I'll make this bigger so you guys could see it on your smartphones. Okay, so the Dow is off a whopping 0.2%, down 68 points. NASDAQ up 146 points. That was a rebound in the work from home, stay at home, tech-related, screen-related, app-related stocks. That pulled the S&P 500 up. FANG stocks did well. In spite of inflation coming out, so we'll talk about inflation. Inflation numbers came out today. I wouldn't say they came out hot. The inflation numbers that came out today came out warm, where the year-over-year number was 2.5% expectations versus what we got was 2.6%. And the core rate, excluding food and energy, came out at 1.6 versus expectation of 1.5%. The real number that we're expecting to show a bigger gain is actually for April. So we're expecting in the first second week of March, we'll see the bigger numbers. Some economists expect inflation to kind of trail off once a year ago numbers roll off the count. Some are expecting much bigger inflation than we expected. So we just don't know yet. I have my own view. I do think that inflation is going to run hotter and a little bit hotter for longer than the Fed expects. But the Fed said they'll be very, very patient. I mean, they could literally let inflation run a little hot, a little warm for, a year or two before they even consider pulling back on their easy monetary policy. So anyway, the stock market took off today. I guess the Dow is off, but the NASDAQ and the S&P went up today. Oil was up today a little bit. Gold is up a little bit today. So if you go by gold is expecting more inflation ahead. Let me just put on mute for once. Okay, sorry about that. VIX continues to come down at 16.65%. So that is continues to say, look, we've been talking about that to see it below 20, and it stays below 20. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin up over 5%, up over $3,000. We've got the Coinbase IPO probably coming out tomorrow. It's a big deal. It's just a major validator of continuing validations of Bitcoin. Tesla, PayPal, Square, MasterCard, Visa. There have been so many big companies that have one way or another validated crypto by accepting it or putting it on their balance sheet as an asset or using it for diversification of their treasury accounts. So that continues to work its way through. So we'll see how Coinbase works. Am I a buyer of the stock in the aftermarket? They're doing a direct listing from what I understand. So what they're doing is the insiders are just going to be selling stock to the public at way higher prices than what the insiders paid for it. But that's how the system works, right? That's how the wealth is created. They built a big company. And then we'll have to see how it trades. So I don't want to say on a live stream if I'm a buyer or not, but I will definitely be watching it. And as of tomorrow, Coinbase will probably be the best proxy we have for actually buying crypto without actually buying crypto itself. So some people say, hey, I'm just going to buy the crypto. I don't want to buy the Coinbase. Some people will say, I want to give the Coinbase a shot because maybe I don't want to open up an account on Coinbase or some other crypto exchange. So we'll see about that. Boeing, look, again, when you saw the I'm running around here, but the J&J news, when you saw the J&J news and you're thinking, oh no, the reopening trades are dead. This is going to be the worst thing. The reopening trades had a really good day. Look at Southwest Airlines was up today, bumping along highs. Stock traded today. It's almost to its year high. Boeing was up over 375, UAL, UPS, Honeywell. These are economically sensitive stocks. Not all of them, but the reopening stocks overall didn't do too badly. Let's take a look at some of the other reopening stocks. Okay, UAL, Planet Fitness, Southwest, Norwegian Cruise, Carnival Cruise. All right, so Marriott was off a little bit. Marriott was $105 not too long ago. Royal Caribbean, Delta Airlines, American off a little bit. I think Delta and American, the reason that they're lagging the performance of Southwest I recently said this to a couple of friends. We're talking about stocks and like why, they like American Airlines or Delta. I like Southwest. The reason is Southwest is really capturing the reopening plays better, the travel and leisure. That's coming back a lot quicker than business travel. Business travel doesn't really affect Southwest. I mean, I travel for business, but when I travel for business, I still take either JetBlue or Southwest. I don't fly Delta or American. I like those other airlines, and my airport for me is about 20 minutes by car from my house to get to a Southwest Airlines plane. So anyway, I don't take too much negative feelings that these few stocks were down. Overall, it was a pretty good day. And let's just take a look at the FANG names, and then I'll get to something else. The FANGs. All right, so big deal. Facebook was off $1.78. The stock was just like $2.65 recently when people thought the Department of Justice was going to go after them and break them up, and now it's over 300, hitting highs. Apple had a good day. Microsoft a good day. Amazon, Google, Netflix. The market can't help but go up. I'm talking about the S&P 500 when these stocks go up this much. The S&P 500 is an index. You can't invest directly into an index, but you could invest into a security that tracks or mimics an index. Just have to get that. I'm getting really good at saying that, by the way. Moderna says new data shows its COVID vaccine is more than 90% effective against the virus 6 months after the second shot. So, it's going from 95 or 94% to 90% after 6 months. It sounds pretty good to me. So maybe you'll need a booster in a year. We just don't know yet. We'll see. Okay. We'll have to see. All right. And Pfizer CEO says the company can deliver 10% more doses to the U.S. by the end of May than previously agreed. So that probably takes care of any issues with the Johnson & Johnson drug vaccine. So the economy continues to move. And given the strength of the economy and that inflation was still pretty low, low inflation, low interest rates, 10-year Treasury held steady. Powell says it's keeping low rates where they are. These are really good conditions for a sustainable bull market, and these are very good conditions for bank stocks. Did anyone notice that Bank of America broke through $40? I mean, when was the last time you saw that? Like, we've been watching Bank of America for years, and it finally broke through 40. That is huge that it finally broke through 40. I think it's a big deal because it just says that they broke through technical levels, and once you break through a technical resistance, you go higher. The sellers are out of the stock. That's a technical perspective, technical analysis. So I think the economy continues to boom. We talked about Coinbase, and I think the Coinbase is a watershed moment. You have any questions about this stuff? I've been covering crypto a lot on this show. And again, I don't think it's fair to talk about crypto without talking about the risks. Central government regulation, like India has banned using crypto. You could actually get in a lot of trouble if you use crypto there. Could I see China's coming out with their own crypto coin? I heard one market guru today. Damn it, big guy. I mean, solid individual in markets. I'll think of the name in like any moment. All right, Coinbase is just coming across the tape now. Gets a reference price of $250 from NASDAQ ahead of its direct listing. I wonder. I was thinking the valuation. It would be about $65.3 billion on a fully diluted basis. That's actually, I think, a little lower than I thought. Anyway, with Chinese currency, if they issue their own currency, they could see where your currency is, where your money is. They could track every single thing you do because it's all electronic. So there's a trail behind everything. It's not like Bitcoin where Bitcoin is not 100% anonymous on the blockchain. But I think for most people it is, and it's very hard to trace it. But, let's say you have, a million yuan in Chinese crypto, right? The legitimate Chinese crypto. What if the Chinese central government says, Beijing says, I'm going to turn off your money. And all of a sudden, your money's worthless because they turned it off like a light switch. Kyle Bass is who I'm thinking of, the hedge fund manager Kyle Bass. He made a lot of points. So I'll leave you with this. Something that's been on my mind. A ruler can rule people, tell them what to do, boss them around, maybe use fear. That's how it is in China. Leadership, though, doesn't boss you around. They inspire you to do better. They inspire you to want to be part of a team because you may go further. Well, you may go faster alone, but if you want to go further, you go as a team. Just something on my mind. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate everybody out there taking the time. Remember, tomorrow I have a guest. Her name is Rebecca Brooks. She is a financial coach. She is excellent at what she does, and she's going to be talking to us about budgeting, the B word. And it's not, in her world, budgeting is not a punishment. When you hear somebody say, oh, you're going on a strict budget, it's like you're being punished. She wants to break that mold. A budget is about priorities and about empowering you to be better with your money, not to punish you to be better with your money. All right. And I am on Instagram at InstaMitchG. I post there quite often. I'm on LinkedIn, Mitchell Goldberg, AIF. I am also have a Facebook business page, Client First Strategy, and I'm on YouTube, Client First Strategy. So go ahead, check out YouTube. You'll see a lot of my content, a lot of my follow-up videos, and a lot of short 30-second to 2-minute videos. Take a look there. Please subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.